Well, good afternoon, everybody. It is the time and the place for the Harris Ranch Community Infrastructure District #1 meeting. Clerk, will you call the roll?
Bajent.
Here.
Haney Keith. Woodings. Here. 2 present, 1 absent.
First up on our agenda are the minutes from June 20th.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the minutes of the Harris Ranch Community Infrastructure District meeting of June 20th.
Second, clerk, will you call the roll?
Bajent.
Yes.
Woodings.
Yes.
All in favor, motion carries.
Next on the agenda is the fiscal year 2024 foregone property taxes public hearing. And I think Zach is our first presenter. Zach, I'm not sure your mic is on.
There we go. We good?
You're good.
Perfect. All right. Okay. Today, the district will hold 2 public hearings. The first hearing is regarding a resolution that would recover foregone property taxes to be used for the maintenance and operations of the district. The second public hearing is to consider the fiscal 2024 budget. It is important to note that the resolution approving the fiscal 24 budget does not address any projects that the developer will submit. Those projects will be reviewed at our October meeting. All right, so as we discussed in the June 20th budget workshop, the district has $3,303 in foregone property tax revenues. $192 of that foregone property tax revenue is eligible to be recovered for the fiscal 2024 budget. As required by Idaho code, a public hearing is held prior to the board taking any action on recovering the property tax revenue. This foregone property tax would be used to help pay for the additional legal expenses the district has incurred in FY23 and expects to have in the upcoming years. So that concludes my remarks on this resolution, and I will stand for any questions.
Zach, one quick question. I remember talking a while ago about the kind of compounding effect of recovering this foregone, and it adds up to more than $192 in the end. Do you have that figure? Yes,
that is correct, Mr. Chair. That is going to add up to $45,000 over a course of 15 years.
Okay, great. With this, I will open the public hearing on the foregone property taxes. We're going to talk about the budget in a moment at the next public hearing, but would anybody like to testify on foregone taxes for fiscal year 2024? There's nobody online, is there? No. Okay, I will close the public hearing. What's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve HRCID 13-2023, a resolution to recover foregone property taxes for the fiscal year 2024 budget and providing an effective date.
Second, any discussion?
Nope.
Well, my discussion was captured mostly in the question. It's $192, but it does add up to something meaningful for the district in the long run. So clerk, will you call the roll?
Bajent.
Yes.
Woodings.
Yes.
All in favor, motion carries.
And next we have the fiscal year 2024 operating budget public hearing with Zach again.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Now we come to the fiscal 2024 public budget hearing. So this public hearing was noticed on June 30th at the postal pavilions throughout the district and published in the Idaho Statesman, on July 13th, as is required by the CID Act. This budget is very similar to the one presented at the June 20th budget workshop. However, the latest edition does include a reduction in property taxes and total revenues and expenses after receiving updated data from Ada County regarding property values. This proposed budget has revenue and expense of approximately $19 million. $13 million of which is a contingent appropriation for previously approved GO bonds that have not been issued. $1.8 million of property tax includes approximately $1 million of debt service for outstanding bonds and also includes incremental revenues from fiscal 22 and fiscal 23. All right. In response to board feedback at the June budget workshop, staff has also prepared a brief overview of the property tax impact for this budget. These calculations are based on a hypothetical home value within the district and are derived from average property values. Due to a decrease in home values, the average home will see their district property tax decrease from an estimated $2,063 to an estimated $1,766. This represents an average estimated decrease, and actual numbers may vary based on the county's actual appraisals and valuations. Next, in response to board members Wooding's request at the June 20th budget workshop, district staff has also prepared a quick overview of the project status of the district. The project overview is broken into the following categories. Approved projects represent all projects approved by the board, which currently totals $31.3 million. Of the approved projects, $19.2 million have been financed through bond issuance, and leaving $12.1 million that are approved but have not been financed. Prospective projects are community infrastructure projects that have been completed by the developer and will be submitted for board approval. Those total $3.8 million at this time and will be discussed at our upcoming October board meeting. So this concludes staff presentation, and my colleague David Hasagawa and I will stand for any questions at this time.
No questions from me right now. Just thank you for slide 7 with the estimated property tax impact. I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. You're welcome.
We will open the public testimony portion of the hearing on the operating budget. Do we have anybody signed up to testify? No. Would anybody like to testify? And when you're done, you can put your name and address on that sheet. That'd be great.
Is this on testing? Yeah.
It's on.
Yeah, I signed up outside.
Oh, I just didn't recover the sheet. So you're good. Thank you.
Okay. So my name is Bill Doyle. My address is 3026 South Brookridge in Boise. I'll keep this brief. The purpose of my comments is simply to request that the board make an adjustment to the tax levy for the upcoming fiscal year so that you collect only the amount necessary with a reasonable margin of safety to pay scheduled debt service on the outstanding general obligation bonds previously issued by the district. So my understanding of what's happened or is what's happening in the current year is that you've effectively over collected by maintaining the maximum levy amount. I think it's 2.85, the maximum levy amount. And that for the current year has generated revenues of, I don't know how many, $500,000 or $800,000 more than was necessary to pay scheduled debt service. So, and that overage, I think, is comparable or more in the upcoming fiscal year. So property owners in Harris Ranch are already paying 40% more on average for their aggregate property taxes than other comparable properties within the development and outside of the development elsewhere in Boise. So looking for what I believe to be a fair, equitable, and reasonable adjustment in the amount of the levy so that you only collect enough to make payments of scheduled debt service. I don't think that has any adverse effect on the developer because of the pending litigation. You're not able to proceed with the financings previously approved. That's it.
Thank you, Bill. You also sent, well, a group of you sent a letter that we received and read. Is there anything different in your request here from your request in the letter? I didn't hear anything
No,
different.
just an intent to reemphasize those comments.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I didn't collect the sign up sheet from outside. So if anybody else has signed up to testify, now would be the time. And if anybody else, oh.
Mr. Chair, Heath Clark, 251 East Front Street in Boise, on behalf of Harris Family Limited Partnership and Barber Valley Development. And I just wanted to respond to Mr. Doyle's comments. Obviously, we do not agree with that approach. That would suggest that the claims that they've been making somehow have validity, and so therefore the taxpayers, or excuse me, the CID shouldn't be prepared to pay on previously approved projects. It would hamstring, as I understand it, the district's ability to move forward on those once the litigation is behind us. And so we obviously would object to that.
Thank you, Mr. Clark.
Thank you.
Would anybody else like to testify today? There's nobody online. Okay, I will close the public testimony portion. Are there any other questions for staff?
No, Mr. Chair, I think I have all of the information that I need. And thank you for that additional analysis. I would move that we approve HRCID 14-2023, a resolution approving the fiscal year 2024 operating budget for the Harris Ranch Community Infrastructure District Number 1 and providing an effective date.
Second, any discussion?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I really appreciate the analysis of what those outstanding projects look like, because compared to the budget, it seems like those amounts are within line and keep us moving forward. So I appreciate it, and I'm happy to make the motion to approve the budget.
Okay, thank you. We did receive a written objection and we heard it again today, and I take it, I understand the concern. At the same time, it's been the policy of this board to try to levy funds to facilitate community infrastructure. We make attempts to issue bonds. The process has been gummed up, frankly, by litigation, but the board needs to be able to issue those bonds if the litigation resolves. And without taking a position on who's right or whose claims are stronger, I have a personal view on that, but without taking that position, we do need to be able to issue bonds if the litigation resolves in a way that allows us to do that. So that's part of the reason that I support taking the levy as proposed by staff. And then there's the observation that the levies are extra or excess. It's kind of true in the abstract, but to the extent that there's extra money, it gets used to service the existing debt or to pay down the debt in advance of schedule. So it's still going to its purpose. It's not like we collect it and sit on it and have it. And in my mind, I mean, one way or the other, the debt has to be paid. This is the mechanism to collect the monies to pay the debt, and it's appropriate to continue collecting, as has been the policy of the board in years past. So I'll be supporting the motion as well. Clerk, will you call the roll?
Agent,
Yes.
Whittings.
Yes,
All in favor, motion carries.
Mr. Chair, I move that we adjourn.
Second, anybody opposed?
No.
Motion carries.